I love him. I'm sorry. He's like a WWE character.
No, yeah, he's a cartoon character.
I do like it.
I
do
love
like it.
Well, listen, I have no quarrel with Dillon Brooks. I do have to say, unlike Ignition, I liked the originals better than the remix. Deshaun Stevenson was the original.
I like the remix.
And then, of course, there was a whole Jay-Z Soulja Boy component to that. Do you remember
yes,
that?
I was covering
and then
that
all of a
series.
sudden, Soulja Boy shows up at the game and Jay-Z's rapping about Deshaun Stevenson. The best moment of that young man's career up to that point. Then, no relation,
and after, too.
Lance Stevenson gets involved, blowing in people's ears and putting his hands literally in LeBron James' mouth. And Lance, 5 times, Brew. He made it to the playoffs 6 times in his career. 5 times, LeBron, of course, sent him home at the end. Then the best version, let's be honest, is Draymond. And much like happened with Deshaun and with Lance, Draymond, who was the best player and the best troll in this regard, also, like those other guys, different way, but ended at one point crying in his car, begging for Kevin Durant's help because of LeBron James. And now we have, in year 20, the newest and latest version, Dillon Brooks. And I like it. I think this is good sports trash talk. I think it's absurd. I think that the 6th best player on the Grizzlies talking that way about, at worst, the 2nd greatest player in the history of the league is on its face an absurdity, but it's good for the series. I don't think it's good for the Grizzlies, but it's good for the series. I have no problem with it. I think it's ridiculous, but I have no problem with it.
I'm with you in that. Obviously, I love LeBron James. And so to see Dillon Brooks do this, though, it is great. I've told you guys over the last week, I'm really starting to like the Grizzlies. They're not likable, but I like them. All right, but look, a lot of people, and I don't know if you're in this camp, Nick, a lot of people would say it's dumb of Dillon Brooks to do what he's doing. And I get it. You mentioned all the guys that have talked trash to LeBron and paid the price. But I think Dillon Brooks is actually smart. I think this is calculated. I think he's doing this with a purpose. I think he's going at LeBron this way to try to goad LeBron into a one-on-one thing.
But that won't happen.
To try to get, he's trying it, to try to get LeBron James. What did he say? Till you give me 40. Why did he pick 40? You could have picked anything. He wants LeBron to get away from the Lakers game plan and go out there and try to give Dillon Brooks 40.
Can I say?
I agree. I don't think it'll work because you just saw the Lance Stevenson video where a dude's blowing in your ear. I'm probably going to do something about that. But LeBron's so cool, he's just
This is like this.
This
Second time in 2 weeks you talked about throwing hands.
But hold on.
Well, I'm old school. I know y'all young and soft and all that. I'm old school.
Nick, let me show you a graphic after this.
No, but
keep going, sorry.
Here's the deal. Look, remember when LeBron broke the scoring record, all right? And he went out and had 36 points in the first 3 quarters.
Yeah.
He was great, but guess what? They were losing to the freaking Oklahoma City Thunder. They know that the Lakers are better if LeBron's getting the ball to AD, if he's making sure Austin Reeves and some of the others are involved. And LeBron should go kill Dillon Brooks and shut him up with a 30-point triple-double, not a 45-point game. I think that's what Brooks is trying to do.
Here are the numbers that Josh pulled up.
Yeah.
Lakers record this year. If LeBron scores over 27, they're under 500. If he scores
what I'm talking
26, they're good. Now, the odd part is if he scores 40, what are they, 3 and 2, Josh? 3 and 2 if he scores 40, so it's kind of a little bit of wiggle room
I think that LeBron, when things are going great, he does not look to score. So I think it's
not true. Sometimes he'll just start throwing up some threes. Last night he came out shooting a lot of threes.
No. Maybe I said it wrong or maybe you misunderstood. What I'm saying is LeBron's first instinct, typically, it gets different late in playoff series over his career where his points go up and his assists go down in elimination games. But I think LeBron goes into every game looking for what you're talking about. Be the floor general, get other guys involved. And the reason they have a losing record when he scores the most, what you're showing is, I think typically he, if things are not going well, then says, let me go try to see if my scoring can get us back into the game, which is, I think, to a degree, what he tried yesterday. Yesterday in the second half, he was far more active offensively than in the first half. It just wasn't enough. The one part I'll disagree with what you said, Brew, is I do not think this was calculated by Dillon Brooks.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
No.
He's a smart guy.
I'm not saying he's not a smart guy, but Dillon Brooks, he plays the character of Stone Cold Dillon Brooks at all times.
Love it.
This is not about specifically trying to get the Lakers to change their game plan. This is about Dillon Brooks trying to be an agitator because that is his role. That is, even if, I guess my point is, even if the Lakers' best way of winning was LeBron scoring 40 and not having a triple-double, I think he still says this because that is the role that he has taken on for this team, and that is what makes him a value. Offensively, Dillon Brooks, where he's different than Draymond, in a number of ways, but most notably is Draymond in his heyday, and even to a degree now still, is a valuable offensive player because of the playmaking. Dillon Brooks is a net negative in every aspect offensively. His entire utility is his defense, which he's excellent at, and his agitation, which in today's NBA is a bit of a rarity to really try to mix things up the way he does.
He can score a little bit, though.
He's wild. Okay,
He's averaged, what, 17, 18?
A very inefficient 17. I think he is a net negative offensively, but still a valuable player because of this stuff.
All right, so what do you think LeBron should do? Because Dillon Brooks has been doing
Not
this since...
a damn thing.
Yeah,
LeBron has responded to campaign last year in the preseason when campaign was talking. He was upset. In game one, he was getting pushed and shoved and kind of bumped, and he wasn't doing anything. And so LeBron is expected to check his ego. Checking his ego is going to affect his game too a little bit.
You sound like you want him to go Draymond on him.
No.
Dillon Brooks also knows this, Wildes. If we get into it, if I can goad LeBron into really going at me, not just on the court, but push me or something like that, who loses out? If we both get ejected, who loses out? The Lakers or the Grizzlies?
But LeBron having to play I don't hear you, I'm focused on the game, he doesn't want to play that way either.
But he did that he did that with Lance and
was that
others.
Last year or at the beginning of the year? Desmond Bain made a layup, yelled, and LeBron goes upset because he felt like he was being disrespected. Campaign on the bench, LeBron was yelling because the Suns got a little bit hot. So now he's getting yelled at in his face, bumped every little out of possession, and he's just LeBron is okay.
I disagree with your analysis on this. I think there are times where a spontaneous outburst by someone, LeBron will respond in kind with a spontaneous outburst of his own. I think if he goes in knowing, whether it's Lance Stevenson or Dillon Brooks, the guy's entire game plan is he is going to feel like he won if he gets me, LeBron James, to respond. He said as much. He's not going. I think that would oddly give Dillon Brooks more confidence than making a jump shot would. It would. I think that it made Dillon Brooks feel good when LeBron finally, for a moment, lost his cool and called him a bleeping bum, which is what he did when he went to the huddle there. Because that's what Dillon Brooks is trying to get. He's trying to goad him into a response.
We're not saying be a shrinking violet, but just go out there and destroy him with your game.
I never would
say that.
Destroy him with your game.
Remember that other game? He was like, this team looks like a bunch of, is it shrinking?
Shrinking violet.
Shrinky?
Shrinking.
Are you sure about that?
A violet at night, I think.
I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Dusty, look at
Dusty,
I think I'm sure.
I think it is.
I was an English major.
I don't know if that's necessarily germane. AD had a rough game.
Object lesson. Last night, AD was a shrinking violet.
Okay, thanks.
That's what he was. I'm getting so tired. On the one hand, it's admirable once or twice to go up there and say, this game was on me. I get it. Look, I got to play better. But I'm hearing this from AD once every week and a half.
But don't you think he was great on one end of the court?
Yes, but he's AD.
Defensively.
With Russell Westbrook in his 14th year that we don't expect anything from offensively, does that. It's great.
That's
but Anthony Davis.
Got to be two ways.
Yeah, absolutely. And here's why he struggled. Well, this isn't only why he struggled, but I will give Memphis credit because they got physical with him. AD has told us time and time again he doesn't want to be a center. Why? Because he doesn't like to bang. And they threw Xavier Tillman, who's only 6'8", and then the Roddy kid, who's 6'5" and built like a defensive tackle. All right, they threw him out there, and AD struggled. He missed 5 of his first 6 shots, all of them in the paint.
And got a little pass.
Yeah. He shrunk. All right, and so this is the concern, though. Nick, his last 5 games, AD has shot 44% from the floor and scored 16 points a game and gotten to the foul line less than 4 times a game.
Yeah, he's got to be better.
And look, I think they'll get through I picked Memphis. I'm going to stick with my pick. But if they get through this series, they just need AD to be a superstar. Be what he is.
They're going to get through this series, and I'll explain why I believe that in a moment. And against the Kings, if he doesn't look good because they have no interior defense, that would be, to me, incredibly concerning. I think AD, he wasn't part of the solution yesterday, but he was far from the Lakers' biggest problem. The Lakers did not did not lose this game because of Anthony Davis. They lost this game because the entire bench, aside from Rui, gave him nothing. D'Angelo Russell gave him nothing. Austin Reeves gave him very little. Wildes, hold on.
But if the defense held him to 103
points. That's my point.
That's fine, but if AD gives them 25,
it's ridiculous.
They win.
Okay,
He's one of the top 10 players in the league.
Yes.
You can't say that you expect more than 30.
I get there were other issues.
I'm not absolving him.
It's Austin Reeves' fault.
What I am saying is, it would be one thing if you can be like, why'd the Lakers lose? Everyone did their job but this guy. That is far from it. But the other reason the Lakers lost is because everyone loses this game. 4 teams went on the road and won Game 1 in the playoffs this year. How did all 4 of them do in Game 2? Terribly, right? The Clippers went on the road and then they lost.
What do all 4 of them not have?
What do you mean?
2 top 10 players in the league.
Thank you, Wildes.
Okay,
Nick, you know that.
I understand that, but also the Grizzlies are arguably, not in the Bucks case, but the Grizzlies are a very legitimate opponent with or without Ja. This was a game the Grizzlies had to win, and that's what I wanted to get to, if I may, for a moment, because there was a reason that all of us yesterday said, funny feeling about this game. There was a reason Vegas had it as a pick'em essentially all day, even though it looked like Ja wasn't going to play. And that is, we now have, Brew, a 50-game sample.
Really?
No,
okay,
true. No, I heard you. Hold on. You don't even know what I'm going to say.
I know what you're going to say.
No, you don't know what I'm going to say. You know what I know what Colin said.
I do know what Colin was saying.
That you disagreed with. Can we show the Grizzlies with and without Ja? And so the winning percentage without him is a touch higher, but let's just call it equivalent. They win about 2 out of 3 games with or without him. There is something to the fact that this team, think about his draft class. Who's the one guy that went before him? Zion. The Pelicans with Zion are unbelievable, and without him, fall apart entirely. The Grizzlies, because they are a deep, defensive-oriented team, and because they have a ton of experience dealing with it, they can deal with the loss of their superstar better than any team in the league and still be a formidable opponent. Now, what you thought I was going to say, I guess, is that they are better without him or that they don't need him.
You're not going
there.
No,
of course not. To win the title, to advance, you have to have this guy.
They're not a contender without
Ja, but they are.
Yeah, they can win the game and make it tough.
They can win a game and they can be dangerous without Ja. 50 games, winning 2/3 is pretty damn good.
It's something.
You want to go there? Go ahead and say it.
I'm not. Look.
Are they better without Ja Morant?
It's something. All I'm saying is it's
that
something.
sounds like a yes to me.
It's not a yes, but it's 50 games. 5 games, 10 games.
But
if it was 10 games, you would be like, let me see after 25. And if it was 25, you're like, let me see after 40. Man, it's been 50 games. They're pretty good.
Most of them regular season games. And in the playoffs, Nick, you know this, you need a guy.
That's the thing.
By game 3, 4, they know everything the opponent's doing. I know Ja likes to go left. Ja likes to go right, whatever. 2 dribbles here, he's pulling up for a jumper. And you need that guy that, even though you know exactly what I want to do, you can't stop it.
No, that's right.
And Ja is the only player on that team
That's
like
absolutely right. What's also absolutely right is Remember yesterday when I said Wildes did a whole LeBron bit just so he had an opportunity to crush him for
this is
today?
not my
Let's go to
integrity is being
Wildes'
questioned.
wild tweets.
You keep tweeting, Wildes.
Wildes thoughts. Going into the fourth quarter last night, in a game the Lakers clearly didn't have it. We're down 12 points. Anthony Davis hadn't made a basket in an hour. Here's Kevin Wildes' tweet.
What? See?
Just
Oh,
as
incendiary.
predicted, time for LeBron to go into takeover mode.
That's
Just
a wild
so
I think you were trolling him, Wildes.
See, exactly.
You were
That's an honest thought.
See, exactly. Thank you.
I was ready. I was ready for LeBron to take over the
Did
game.
you really think he was going to take over?
Oh, well, God forbid that I think the second best player of all time can grab his shorts. Remember this meme? This one? Looking down, getting angry.
That was literally, what, 21 years ago?
Well,
I think?
then
or no,
we had a
11,
big argument
11
how
years
great
ago.
he is.
11 years ago.
and I got to pass the ball to
Brew,
Rui.
did I call
Austin
it or
Reeves,
did I
take
not
us
call
home.
You called
Did
it.
I call it or
You-
did I not call
You
it?
were trolling.
I'm not
There's no way
trolling.
you
I
weren't
believe
trolling.
in the best. I believe in the best
Oh,
players
clearly.
to elevate their game, and you could have sent the Grizzlies home, even though they were home. It had been a double whammy win.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.